Welcome to Spider-Verse Minute, the tri-weekly podcast where we watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 1 minute at a time. I'm Caroline Slater.
And I'm her brother Sean, and welcome back from our holiday hiatus.
Today we are discussing Minute 64. It starts with Spider-Pig talking about his likes, and ends a minute later with Peter introducing Miles.
And what did you title this minute?
Group Glitch!
Yeah, it is. They get all glitchy in this one.
Yeah. I feel like I should note that the title has an exclamation point at the end.
Well, of course, you said it with that.
Yeah, just making sure it came across. It's only one, though, so it's not that exciting.
Yeah, just a little exciting.
Just a little pep.
Before we get to that group glitch, I just want to touch on some stuff from the end of Spider-Ham's story. And one of the things is that his world draws inspiration from the 1954 Disney short Pigs is Pigs, which was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Short at the time. But they just like some of the stylistic inspirations they get from that short, they bring into his world.
Oh, I see it. I'm looking at images of it now.
Yeah.
I see the inspiration. That makes a lot of sense. See, I always thought it was just more of a generic, like Looney Tunes, like that sort of just era in general.
Yeah, Looney Tunes, the WB kind of cartoons is what I always thought of as well.
Yeah, but that's kind of interesting. They have like a specific reference.
Yeah, and you know, at the end of the story of his bit here, like I like how they cut it short. Because it is like, it's just like, okay, we get it. This is we've heard this pretty much the same exact origin story 3 times already. Let's just get on with it. There's some small variation.
Yeah,
and then they kind of go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I also like how with Spider-Pig, Peter Porker, he goes a little further.
Yeah,
he's no longer just talking about him being as Spider-Man. He starts talking about I enjoy doing all these other things too, and it's like we don't need to know this part.
Yeah, and then when Peter B asks how did you guys get here, and it's like, well, it's kind of a long story, and then it's just this really quick montage, and they're like, okay, I guess it wasn't that long.
I loved that so much. It cracks me because it's literally just suck in, launch, all hit at the same time, and then it ends.
Yeah, and it's just a great way for them to get across that they all got here in the same way that we've seen before, and we don't have to reiterate that and it's show that it was how they got in there.
Yeah, I love that. One thing I just noticed in my notes that I want to bring up is the way that they end Spider-Pig's little tangent is by having, it's very cartoony in to me anyway, where Peter actually grabs his panel and just pulls it down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that is some classic cartoon right there.
Yeah, I like that is good interaction with the layout of the fourth wall interaction that they do.
Yeah.
I like that kind of physical interactions that happened. There was some, I forget if it was a cartoon, a comic book cartoon, or in one of the comic books I was reading, but they did something like that where they would in a issue they actually crawled across the panels. It might have been one of the Deadpool ones because he breaks the fourth wall.
Deadpool would make sense.
But either that or She-Hulk or one of the ones where they break the fourth wall. And yeah, they were like, okay, yeah, we just gotta go over to this part, and they just crawl out of the panel, walk across the page, and crawl onto another panel.
It's that sort of type of meta comedy is definitely very popular among cartoons, especially the cartoons I watch, and I feel like it's gotten a little more popular recently.
Yeah.
I instantly think of The Amazing World of Gumball in recent history, who had a lot of meta jokes. And there was even a whole episode where they the family became broke and they started losing their animation, and they literally became the story panels sketched out, and that's how the end of the show. And I'm that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I instantly thought of one of my favorite cartoons that was kind of ahead of its time in the sense because they did so many of these kinds of jokes. Chowder.
Yeah.
They broke the fourth wall as uncountable. The famous one everyone knows is when, very similar to Amazing World of Gumball, they ran out of money. But what happened is no money means no animation, so they cut to just the voice actors. In the studio,
yeah.
like recording, and then they do like a car wash. Then they get enough money to get the animation back. And I'm like, that is definitely one of their most famous fourth wall breaks, but there are many.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there are so many jokes like that in Chowder. It just made me think of that instantly. I'm like, that's a very Chowder joke that they did in Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I like when shows do those sort of like, it can get excessive at times where you just like start rolling your eyes at like the amount of fourth wall wink wink nudge nudge, but yeah, when they're done in like kind of subtly like this one where it's just something quick one off that they do, that like it's enjoyable.
Yeah, I think it also depends like how they break it and how much it's like integrated into the show.
Yeah, like looking at the camera and breaking it is a lot more like annoying. I like the jokes in shows where they make a reference to like what time that they air. Like I know they've done it in some of the CW superhero shows where they're like, wait a second, it's not Tuesday, like, you know, it can't be. Or like in one of the Arrow near the end of the seasons, they're like, wait a second, it's not May. We're not supposed to have a calamity yet, because like that's when the season ends. So it's the final battle of the season, and yeah, like those are funny because like it's kind of like, okay, they're nice, quick. They don't really hang on it too much, and it's just it's a nice little funny.
Yeah, shows like that I don't expect a lot, but shows like Chowder, where it was so integrated with its humor and it was like part of the identity of the show, it happened like every episode, but it never bothered me because it was often done in a new way, and it was just so part of the show that you're never like, oh, it's a little annoying now. It's like it's clearly part of the show.
Yeah,
that they're acknowledging they're in a show. I think that's kind of why Deadpool works. Like,
yeah,
it's so integrated into like who he is as a character.
Yeah, and his can get a bit excessive too.
Yeah,
like I didn't.
I agree.
His is like a finer line to walk on.
Yeah.
If it gets a bit too like memey, but if it's just like breaking the fourth wall, and it's done well.
Yeah, that's why I really appreciated Gumball, The Amazing World of Gumball, because they always found new ways to break the fourth wall. So sometimes it would be like the character Gumball ran into the TV screen, and then they would switch angles, and then it was no longer there.
Yeah.
Or it would be like they would just acknowledge it was a show, or they would do a time thing or something like that.
Yeah, and after Peter pulls down the panel, it kind of bothered me that like everyone's like they were talking about who has to shut off the collider, and it bothered me that they're all like, I'll do it, and no one's like, how about we have the kid from this dimension do it?
Right?
like he's going to be here anyway. Like, is it just going to be the two of them standing there pushing it?
I also just kind of have to laugh, too, because I never noticed this before, but Penny volunteers so cheerfully.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, I think I have to go back and re-listen to it like 3 times, but she's like, I'll do it! And I'm like, why are you so happy about that? But yeah, no one thought of that.
Yeah. And like, I like to picture a reality where it played out where like, okay, maybe like Spider-Noir stays behind to do it, and like Miles is just kind of like, they're on that fight, everybody jumps in, and the Miles is just like standing there next to him waiting. and he's like, okay, it's your turn, kid. He's like, oh no, this is my dimension, like I'm already home. And he's like, wait, what? Why did I stick behind? Or like 2 days later, he's like Miles stays in his bedroom, and just like 2 days later, him and like Noir like meet up. He's like, why are you in this dimension, kid? He's like, oh yeah, this is my dimension. I live here. And he's like, wait, I sacrificed myself for nothing. You could have done it.
Like Peter B and Gwen know this is Miles's dimension.
Yeah.
So it makes a little less sense that it kind of makes sense they'd volunteer because they also know that he's still very new to this. But like,
Yeah.
I will give.
Well, because Peter doesn't volunteer.
No, he doesn't. But I will give Spider Noir, Penny, and Spider Pig, Spider Ham, a bit of a lax because they don't know Miles is part of this dimension.
Yeah.
Like even May assumed that Miles was from another dimension.
Yeah, that like I always it like kind of makes sense, but it is just funny. They're like, yeah, I'll do it instead of having the kid from this dimension do it.
Did they all see that the Spider-Man of this dimension had died, maybe? Did they ever say that? Because I know that Peter B saw it and Gwen was around to know it happened.
Yeah, I feel like
So
they might have, but...
Maybe that's why? Like, they're like, well, there is no Spider-Man in this dimension. This one died.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why?
Yeah, no, I'm saying it makes sense. It's just funny that, like, they didn't check in with him, I guess.
That's fair. That's fair, and it's kind of funny. But I'm also like, actually, the more I think about it, it actually makes sense why none of them would have really thought of that. But it also is a little funny how they're all, like, very immediate to volunteer to stay.
Yeah.
And I do kind of love the idea of, like, specifically Spider Noir.
Sticking around. I do, like, because right after that, you know, Miles is like, wait, you guys don't get it. And Penny's like, get what? And then they all glitch.
Yeah, except Miles. And he's just standing there like, that. You don't get that.
And, like, when they glitch, like, I like Spider Ham's glitch makes the, like, cartoony noise, like the...
Yeah.
And Penny's eyes go swirly.
They make the motifs for these characters and they stick with them, and I love that.
Yeah. Which was great. Like, Penny's like, but I also like, you know, Miles gives his inspirational speech, and then Spider-Man Noir is just like, who are you?
Yeah, like, who are you again? No, that's like one of my favorite funnier moments of this, just because it is great. It's like, he does this great inspirational speech, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you go, Miles. And then Spider Noir. I love this character so much. Who are you again?
Yeah. And then, you know, Hype Man Peter comes in.
And Man Peter
is just like, hey, this is Miles and he's going to save us all. It's like, okay.
It's such a sweet moment.
Yeah.
It's a good moment to end the minute on.
Yeah. Do you have anything else for this minute?
I really don't. I don't have much for this minute.
Then thank you for joining us this Monday, back from our holiday hiatus. I hope everybody had a nice holiday season. Join us on Wednesday when we watch minute 65 and see how Peter hypes up Miles.
Thanks for listening and Happy New Year.
Bye.